Don't even, don't even do that. We don't even know. We ain't see none of that.
He just know I heard about it.
Yeah, most definitely.
You know what I'm saying? Just I wish he wasn't in here.
Nah. What? Come on, man. Hey, the way he tried to pop it, I thought he did some time or something. Like he, been through that motherfucker. I said, oh, this bitch been watching Power or something. I don't know what the you think this is. He was on TV.
I'm Ryan Rabel. I'm the U.S. Attorney for the Northern District of Texas. Thank you for coming. This week, 9 individuals, including well-known musical artists, kidnapped and robbed at point numerous at a music studio in Dallas, Texas. 8 of the 9 were arrested yesterday in Dallas, Memphis, and Nashville. These individuals who are charged and arrested include Lontrell Williams Jr., also known as Pooh Shiesty.
Pooh Shiesty ain't keeping quiet behind them jail walls. Nah, he's sending warnings. Word is, he just went off on Gucci Mane, throwing threats at Keyshia Ka'Oir and exposing moves that got folks asking one question. Why would a man locked up be telling somebody to hide their wife? Turns out, this ain't just rap beef no more. Something deeper going on. Now, if your ears been down to the street, you already heard Pooh Shiesty back in jail. After stepping out for a minute, looking like he was ready to move smarter, the Memphis menace somehow found himself right back in the middle of a federal situation. And this time, it ain't just rumors or blog talk. This one got paperwork, witnesses, and the feds watching every move real close. But here's where it gets real uncomfortable. Word is, Shiesty ain't sitting quiet behind them walls. Word is, he's been sending warnings, throwing shots at Gucci Mane, and even hinting at things that got people asking, why is this getting so personal? But before we get into that, let's rewind this a bit, because this was no random fallout. Matter of fact, it started out as business. Pooh Shiesty was signed to Gucci Mane label 1017. At one point, that relationship was all about money. Hits dropping, streams going crazy, both sides earning. But behind the scenes, things allegedly started going left. Shiesty wanted out, not later or after negotiations. He wanted out right then and there. Now think about that for a second. Why would an artist making money for a label suddenly want to walk away that bad? Well, the working theory was he felt cheated, like he ain't getting a fair cut of the cash. One whistleblower, Charleston White, told Aiden Ross that Pooh pulled that stunt on Gucci in order to get his share of the $24 million Gucci made from his records while he was in jail. Ain't no way to verify those claims, but the street rode with it.
It sounds like Gucci cooperated. It sounds like the victim. Gucci was a victim and gave his testimony. Come on over here with me, Gucci. It's all right. It's all right to go and be civilian. Yeah, come on. Yeah, come on over here with me, Gucci. Press charges on their ass to the full extent of the law. That's how you get to. Now, I don't hear nobody telling Gucci not to press charges like they trying to convince me not to press charges on Thug. I don't hear nobody calling Gucci for pressing charges.
As one real dude put it, now all that money from that album going to Gucci. So allegedly, Shiesty just got out of jail, only to find out Gucci made $24 million while he was in jail and didn't give him a dime. And dude, in no way was he gonna let that money go. So a meeting gets set up in Dallas. It was supposed to be simple, face-to-face talk, settle the contract, maybe go separate ways. Gucci Mane pulls up, not moving reckless, even brought security just in case. But what happened next? Yeah, this is where everything flipped. Instead of a calm discussion, things allegedly escalated real fast. Voices raised, tension thick, and then suddenly the whole room gets taken over. Doors blocked, people surrounding the space, nobody moving freely. That ain't a meeting no more, that's a situation. And according to what's being said, Shiesty allegedly made it clear this contract getting signed one way or another. Now pause, if you gotta force somebody to sign paperwork, is that really business or is that pressure? Because right there is where the kidnapping and robbery charges come in. Folks inside that room reportedly couldn't leave, property got taken, and the whole thing was being controlled like a setup.
This week, 9 individuals, including well-known musical artists, kidnapped and robbed at point numerous victims at a music studio in Dallas, Texas. 8 of the 9 were arrested yesterday in Dallas, Memphis, and Nashville. These individuals who are charged and arrested include Lontrell Williams Jr., also known as Pooh Shiesty, Lontrell Williams Sr., Rodney Wright Jr., also known as Big 30, Kadarius Waters, Demarion Gibson, DeMarcus Glover, Corday Johnson, Darian McDaniel, and Terrence Rogers has not been arrested yet, but will be soon. The complaint alleges that on January 10th of this year, 3 music industry professionals traveled to Dallas for a scheduled business meeting. Lontrell Williams Jr. arranged this meeting purportedly to discuss the terms of his recording contract with one of the victims. As alleged, once these 3 men were inside the recording studio, Williams Jr. and 8 co-conspirators, several of whom traveled from Memphis, Tennessee, executed a coordinated armed takeover. As alleged, Williams Jr. produced an AK-style and forced one of the victims to sign a release from the recording contract at point. The remaining conspirators displayed firearms and robbed the other victims of Rolex watches, jewelry, cash, and other high-value items. One of the victims was actually choked by one of the defendants to the point of near unconsciousness.
But here's the part that makes it even crazier. While all this was happening, Shiesty was supposed to be in house confinement at the time and was allegedly wearing an ankle monitor. Yeah, let that sink in. Every step, move, location already being tracked in real time. So now ask yourself, was this a calculated move or a crash out? Because once the feds got involved, it was over. Surveillance footage, vehicle tracking, phone records, even social media posts. They lined everything up, even down to folks allegedly posting jewelry after the situation, like it was a victory lap.
The ringleader of the conspiracy, Lontrell Williams Jr., was on home confinement at the time of the offense, as alleged, for a prior conspiracy charge and conviction out of the Southern District of Florida. Towards the end of his prison sentence, he had been granted home detention. Part of the terms of his home detention were that he would not commit another federal offense or possess a firearm. His father, Lontrell Williams Sr., is alleged to have helped plan and execute the federal kidnapping as charged in the complaint. And as described further in the complaint, within hours of leaving the Dallas studio, a number of the defendants were on social media displaying some of the items that appeared to be the jewelry that had been robbed from the victims. The charging document outlines some of the evidence, just some, establishing the defendants' roles in the federal offense. This is as follows.
That's not laying low, that's adding evidence. And once that case opened up, multiple people got picked up. Not just Shiesty, but his circle too. Names tied in, movements tracked, stories starting to match up. Now here's where things get even more layered, because after all this, instead of going quiet, Shiesty allegedly went live and started talking, calling Gucci Mane a snitch, saying things about informants, people folding, folks working with authorities behind the scenes.
Don't even do that. We don't even know. We ain't see none of that.
He just know I heard about it.
Yeah, most definitely.
You know what I'm saying? Just I wish he wasn't in here.
Nah. What? Come on, man. Hey, the way he tried to pop it, I thought he did some time or something. Like he, been through that motherfucker. I said, oh, this bitch been watching Power or something. I don't know what the you think this is. He was on TV.
But let's be real for a second. When there's surveillance, location data, witnesses, is that snitching or is that just evidence catching up? See, this is where the street narrative and reality start clashing. And right in the middle of all that, the tone shifted. Because now folks saying Shiesty been talking reckless from behind bars. Not just calling names, but hinting at knowing things, personal things. And that's where Gucci Mane's name gets dragged deeper into this. Not just as a label boss, but as someone who might have crossed the wrong person. Because if a man locked up is still sending pressure, you gotta ask, how much reach does he really have? We've seen this before. People behind bars still moving pieces, still connected, still able to make things happen without stepping outside. So when people hear talk like hide your wife floating around, that ain't music talk, that's personal. And trust the online community not to stay quiet. One user hit hard. They said bruh loves jail so much he got out just to bring his friends and family back with him. Another said these fools committed all these crimes while Pooh Shiesty wore an ankle monitor and Big 30 recorded Gucci signing the release under duress, and Gucci Mane, he been moving different too. Not going back and forth publicly, just letting the legal side play out. But silence don't always mean peace. because at the end of the day, this whole situation exposed something bigger, the mix of street mentality and business. And what happens when those two collide? One side thinking contracts can be handled with pressure, the other side knowing the system don't work like that. And once the law steps in, everything changes. So now we sitting here watching this unfold in real time. A rapper who had momentum back behind bars, a label boss who survived the situation, and a story that keeps getting deeper the more you look into it. Now, the spotlight on you. If Shiesty really is sending warnings from inside, what does he actually know? And why would things get so personal to the point where family gets mentioned? Was this really just business gone wrong, or something way bigger behind the scenes? And most importantly, when all this finally hits the courtroom, who's really going to tell the full story and who's going to stay quiet? Let's hear your take in the comments. And if you're all about straight up shockers and unfiltered moments, don't miss what's coming next. Click through and stay locked in.